Hey, what's up, everybody? Y'all know how I like my theme song. The piano's in it as well. Hey, I want to make sure before we start, y'all can see and hear me clearly. Put the LUs in the comment if you can see and hear me clearly. If you can't, then let me know. Hey, can't see, can't hear you. I want to make sure y'all get this value and you have everything set up, and I'm not messing up. I'm not lagging, etc. I'll give you a couple seconds. Let me get a sip of water. Okay. Okay. We got somebody said LU. So great. Look, welcome to this live. All right. So if you've been stuck jumping from cert to cert, you've been watching every cloud video, but you still feeling confused, this live is for you. All right. I'm going to give y'all the roadmap so you can stop watching, stop waiting, and really just start building the kind of proof that actually gets you hired. All right. So while you working on trying to consume more content, you got to understand that you need a clear path. And that's exactly what I'm going to break down for y'all today. Okay. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Broadus Palmer. I'm a cloud career coach and founder of Level Up in Tech. This is where we help career changers and aspiring techies, tech professionals really go from stuck to certified and skilled and gaining experience and confidently hired. And we don't waste time on content that doesn't really move the needle or gets them hired or land job offers. All right. So everything that I'm going to tell y'all, this is very important for you to know. And I'm just keeping it 100. That's just the way I like to keep it. Everything that I'm going to tell you, you have heard before. There's no magic potion. This is me reminding you to take action. Everything that we're going to talk about today, someone in your journey, your path, whoever has told you this before. But guess what? We haven't executed all of it, right? So that's why we're here. All right. So we have to really reset our mindset, reframe it, and really get to the root cause of what's stopping us from being successful and look at this plan once again and continue to take action. All right. But I want to just drop some truth bombs on y'all real quick. All right. You don't get hired for knowing everything. You get hired for showing that you can solve problems. All right. You don't get hired for knowing everything. That's some of your problems right there. You're trying to know everything. All right. You don't get hired for knowing everything. You get hired for showing what you can solve. All right. The people that are winning and getting hired, they have a clear value trajectory. They understand their value and they can showcase their value and how they solve problems. All right. So we help folks, excuse me, not folks. We help folks who are security guards, delivery drivers, retail workers, police officers, teachers, and a lot of them don't have a tech degree or computer science background, right? They just needed a path. They were hungry and they executed on that path. All right. So, with that being said, my job is to really just give you an understanding of why you're staying stuck and how we can get out of that endless cycle of you just being frustrated because you're not moving anywhere. But you're so tired. You're like, oh man, I've been working so hard, but we're not working smart, right? So, three common reasons why people stay stuck. Number one, research chase. I've talked to hundreds, if not over 1,000 people who tell me, hey, I'm looking for a job. I just got my solutions architect associate certification. I don't need nothing else. I'm just looking for a job right now. I'm trying to land my first role. Hey, brothers, I just got my AWS certified cloud practitioner, and I'm looking for my first cloud role. They're good at passing tests, but when it comes to talk about how we solving problems, well, haven't built any hands-on skills yet. Skills equal you can solve problems. So if you don't have that piece of paper that you got hanging on your wall, or that piece of paper that you got in your AWS account, your Azure account, your Google account, doesn't mean a damn thing. All right. The second thing, you're consuming 100 voices and you're building nothing. So, oh man, I've been on YouTube University, man, just learning and learning and learning, or I've been taking these free courses. I just been trying to understand. Look, I'm just giving it to y'all real raw because that's the only way I know how to get it. I have people in my inbox that for the last 2, 3 years have just been researching what is cloud computing, what do cloud engineers do. In 3 years, you should be a cloud engineer and probably on your second role. Think about that. So people are still trying to figure out what cloud is because they're consuming 100 videos and some reason they just can't make it click, when in fact they should already be in a role and advancing to another one. So it's not the fact that they don't know what it is, it's the fact that they're scared to take the next step. And you're consuming 10 voices, you're consuming 10 gurus or 10 teachers, and you're not building anything. It doesn't matter what those teachers give you. Like today, it doesn't matter what I give you as far as a path, resetting your mind. It doesn't matter. If you go and you shut your laptop, if you cut off your phone, you log off of LinkedIn, you log off of YouTube, and you don't do anything about it, it doesn't matter. You're not going anywhere. All right. Now, the third thing is for people who are doing the work, but they're working in silence. Once again, I have hundreds of people in my inbox. Yeah, man, I've just been, working on labs and stuff, but I showcasing my projects and really putting that out there. I ain't ready for all that yet. But you've been working on your own for a whole year. If you're building your product and your service, which is you and your skills, right? So I tell people you're not an employee looking for a job. You're a business looking to sell your services to the best client. So if you are a business looking to sell your service to the best client, why are you not marketing yourself? How are you going to get business? I want somebody to put in the comments right now. If you're a business and you don't market, how can you get business? I mean, if you got any super creative ways, I want to hear them. But like, if you're not marketing yourself, how are you getting business? Come on, answer that for me. There's no wrong answer at all. I just want to see, and I hope I'm proving a point. So, if you're building yourself and you're not telling people how great you are, then how are you going to get eyeballs on you? Somebody DM'd me last week saying, I've been learning for 9 months and I still don't feel ready. I said, that's because you're learning in safety and you're not progressing. What does that mean? What does that mean, bro? Think about it, right? If you're complaining that it's taking you 9 months, but you're not pushing yourself, that means you're scared to get hands-on and get outside of your bubble because you're learning the things that are comfortable. We're not, if something gets a little confusing or a little hard, we're not doing the work of trying to figure out what it means or how we can solve problems with it. We want to take the easiest thing and continue with the easiest thing, and we're not growing, right? Even if we're doing that, right? And I'm still giving up to people. Even if it's 9 months and you haven't went anywhere, you're still progressing, right? It's slow, but you're still progressing. And I want you to know that the moment that you say, I'm going to get outside of my comfort zone, that's where the success lies. That's where your success is going to be. And a lot of us haven't gotten out there yet. We've done the work, but we haven't pushed and sold ourselves and told everybody, hey, look at me, look at what I'm doing, because I'm great at what I do. I might not be the best, but I know I can solve your problem. And I want an opportunity to be able to work with you. We're not doing that. All right. And like I said, our strategy has helped police officers, teachers. By the way, we just had a teacher get an offer yesterday as an associate DevOps engineer. They're going to announce it soon on LinkedIn. So I want y'all, if y'all can, just drop a congratulations for them because this is a major life changing experience. Put a congratulations in the comments for that teacher who worked hard, went through, I think, 6 interviews, which is nuts, right? But they persevered, they had a strategy, and it worked, and they landed a life changing role. Put a congratulations in the comments, y'all. I'm gonna wait. I gotta see a congratulations because we gotta big up that hard work, and I hope that inspires you to really focus on. Okay, if they can do it, I can do it. And I know that's cliche, right? But yo, if I can do it, you can do it. What's different about me than you? If you tell me how better I am than you, go ahead. Tell me. I want you to know. 6 interviews is wild. It is wild. We didn't know they went through 6 interviews. We were probably, you know, counterproductive to this person getting this role. We would have told them absolutely not, but it worked for them and they got the role, right? So that's why we probably didn't know that they went on 6 roles, interviews, because we would have told them no. I would never, right? But God has his hand in the pot. He mixes it all up and he makes sure that your steps are the right steps. Even if it's not the thing, it's still going to lead to the thing. That's why you got to keep going. That's why your consistency leads to success. All right. So let me take my sip of water and then we're going to get to unpacking what you need to do to push and land a cloud roll as a beginner. By the way, if what I've given you so far already has been valuable, just raise your hand. I just want to know, like, I don't want to waste no one's time. I want to make sure everything I'm giving you is valuable and it's really helping you understand a process, changing your mindset. Some of you came with a certain mindset today. I want to change that, reframe your mind, and give you a new mindset. So raise your hand if this has already been valuable for you. All right. So the first thing we want to do is we have a goal of, like, we just want clarity, right? And just understanding. So step one, this is what I tell people: pick a role. Pick a role. What do you like to do? Right? I don't know. It's so many things out there, bro. Well, you got support, you got DevOps, you got security, you got data, you got engineering, all of these things. Everyone's an engineer, but you got cloud engineering, which is, you know, designing, deploying, troubleshooting, right? You got site reliability. What is it that you want to do? Well, I don't know, brothers. Okay. Well, look, let's see if I can post this comment. If you don't know what it is that you want to do, let's see if this lets it. Okay. So maybe you can see, if y'all can't see it, it is cloudcareerquiz.com. We built a career quiz to help you learn and understand what cloud role you will crush it in. Let me put it in here real quick before we start. Because, brothers, I don't know. I don't know what cloud role I'd be good at. Cloudcareerquiz.com. All right. So take that. While you're taking that, go ahead and listen to me because I'm going to keep talking, but go and take the quiz. And what I want y'all to do is put your results in the comments. I want to see, because it might surprise you. You might be like, oh, wow, I didn't. Wow. So think about that. You don't know, but you got the answer right there. So that's already obliterating your objection for step one. Because some people are like, I don't even know where to start. I don't even know what I'll be good at. Cloudcareerquiz.com. All right. So there's plenty of things. For example, like if you're in healthcare, right, you can go into cloud support for healthcare. You can go in cloud security for healthcare. You can stay in the industry that you're in. Every industry is a tech industry. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you working at Foot Locker. Guess what? Foot Locker has cloud engineers. Foot Locker has site reliability engineers. Foot Locker has cloud security engineers. It doesn't matter if you're working in grocery retail grocery, right? Kroger's have cloud engineers. Kroger's have site reliability engineers. Kroger's have cloud security engineers. Kroger's have cloud operation engineers. Publix, Wegmans, right? You work for a hospital. I work for Duke University Hospital. Duke has cloud engineers. They have every company is a tech company, or every industry is a tech industry. I want y'all to really understand that. Let me get something out real quick. Now, once again, if you're a teacher, you can go into cloud DevOps, you can go to cloud engineering, you can go to cloud consulting, because you already have systems thinking. You plan lessons, right? You build assessments, and you already building classroom systems. You building CI/CD pipelines, and you don't even know it. Think about that. You got routine management. You follow schedules and manage complex workflows. Teachers don't go to bed till late sometimes, right? And they solve problems under pressure. Dealing with kids or dealing with teenagers, and we know if you got teenagers as children, you already know what it is. This is if you're a teacher and you're dealing with 30 of them, you have to solve problems under pressure. All right. So pick a role. It doesn't matter. Remember what I said. If it's not the thing, it's the thing that's going to lead you to the thing. So what if I pick a role, Robert, and it's not what I like? Okay, if it's something that you don't like and you really, really want to get out of it, you can always pivot to something else. What you learned for that role would never be wasted in tech at all. All right. So remember, just like Terrell, put what your results are from the Cloud Career Quiz in the comments. All right. So if it's not the thing, it's going to lead you to the thing. And contrary to popular belief, right? This is what I think. This is my 2 cents. I believe that what you're passionate about in tech can get you paid, but what you're good at can get you paid well. So that quiz will, take what you like to do and what you're actually good at and kind of combine the effort and show you something that you would just crush it in. And that's a role that you can learn and be good at and get paid well. And you already have transferable skills from what you already doing. Like if you're a waiter, do you understand the pressure that waiters and waitresses are under? Like they have to think under pressure. They have to solve problems. They have to be a different person to accommodate people. You see what I'm saying? So like every customer they deal with is different. You might get a customer where they just playful and you're like, oh man, I really love them. Then you get a customer that's stuck up. Why is my steak medium? You just go get those type of people. And you have to be on your feet, on your toes. That will help you greatly in tech. Not saying you have to be on your toes all the time, but when it's time to be on your toes and you're used to doing it, that is a transferable skill that a lot of people don't have. So, step one, choose a role. Now, step two, we're going to build the foundations. Okay. We're going to pick one cloud provider. We don't need to be multi-cloud right now. We're just getting started. Oh, brothers, well, I seen all these job descriptions asking for multi-cloud. It doesn't matter. You need to focus on one platform and become good within that platform. Once you get on the job, then you can worry about multi-cloud. But right now, we're building the basics. If you're not good with the foundations, you're not going to be good at anything else. So, what we got? AWS, Microsoft, and Google. So AWS is really still the most popular cloud provider right now. It has the biggest market share, a ton of jobs and ton of startups already use AWS. They are good at acquiring partners. This is what you will see a lot of times when you're looking at job descriptions in cloud. So AWS is an easy choice, huge library of services and tools you can use. Okay. Now, Microsoft Azure is typically best for people who already have a Microsoft background. So whether you help desk and you never touch cloud, or it's a simple tech role, or you even, nerded out on Microsoft in your healthcare role or your desk job, whatever you're doing, and it's just Microsoft based, or you've been at the church, right? Working with the church and y'all working in Microsoft environments. This is best for you because it's an easy translation, easy transferable skill from, you know, um, desktop to Azure cloud, right? And then you have GCP, and this is best for data driven folks like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and a lot of startups use Google tools, especially for developers. Now, all three cloud providers use AI and machine learning, right? This is huge across the market. But Google Cloud was officially first known for this, for developers to really analyze petabytes of data, really develop systems and using databases that were super fast, with unlimited scalability to be able to train models and help you make better decisions for your customers and get to know your customers even better. All right. So I will just make an important note that it doesn't matter which cloud provider you choose, right? Which one, brothers? Which one? Which one? Well, the logical thing would be like look at some roles that you want and what are they asking for, right? So, like, if you see like 70% of your roles you look at ask for AWS, then guess what? If you see 70% of the roles asking for GCP, guess what? Azure, if you see that, guess what? Right? But it's no wrong thing. Learning cloud is cloud. Once you learn one, you can easily adjust for another. Like when I got into AWS, it was easy for me to transition to GCP. It was just different names. And GCP had a little more, what's the word? Highly competitive services when it came to data, analytics, machine learning, and AI that AWS wasn't invested in yet. But now the world is caught up, right? So it's no wrong move. So just pick a cloud service provider. So put in the comments what cloud service provider you gonna pick: AWS, Azure, or GCP. I want to see what y'all gonna pick for your career to start off, or if you're already learning, which one are you already learning? Put it in the comments real quick. Don't leave me hanging now. I might got a little delay, but put it in the comments. I want to see. I just like to see. Azure, okay, cool, great, great, great. Who else? Azure, AWS, GCP. Which one you learning or which one you're going to learn? All right. So now, as we really pick which one we want to do, right? We got to focus on 5 core things to learn. And in my opinion, if we don't learn these things and understand the basics and the fundamentals of them, we can't go and learn other things, right? First thing people all yell out like Kubernetes. Well, slow down, cowboy. All right. Or I'm trying to learn serverless. I'm trying to get some AI. Slow down. You can't even tell us what cloud computing is, but you want to talk about AI. Pump your brakes. 5 core things: Linux, identity and access management, compute, storage, and networking. These are the 5 core things that you need to learn. Okay. I wouldn't focus on anything else like Kubernetes, automation, CI CD until you have at least 2 projects in each core service, right? And you can explain the value and how it works. Now, contrary to popular belief by a lot of people that are involved in networking, a lot of network engineers, say, hey, you got to be very strong in networking to learn cloud. Y'all don't hate me, networking engineers. I love y'all, but from the data that we have, You don't have to be very strong in networking. It helps to be strong in networking, but you don't have to be because the information that is out there now, like if you don't remember what services use a port within a firewall or security group to access another service, you can easily look it up. Uh, Terrell, I'm gonna run this back real quick. 5 core services because somebody just asked, what was those services again? 5 core services: Linux, all right, compute, storage, all right, networking. All right, write this down now. So in identity and access management. So Linux, compute, storage, networking, and identity and access management. Those 5 core skills are going to carry over into any other tool that you're going to learn. You cannot learn AI, building agents, creating or working with LLMs, all of that. You cannot learn any of that if you don't understand identity access management, compute, storage, networking. You can't, or even Linux. You can't run notebooks if you don't understand any of this stuff. So take your time, 2 projects each. And if you can explain the value and how it works, you got the fundamentals down. You got the fundamentals down. You can use practice labs as well. Get in the trenches early. All right. So, like, if for networking, right? How we build a VPC? Well, AWS, Azure, and Google have a thing that a lot of us don't use, and it's called documentation. If you don't like using documentation, it's AI models out there or AI services out there like ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, Claude. All these things will help you understand how to build a virtual private cloud or in Azure virtual network, right? Learn it, build it. Because when you build it, and we're going to talk about this in a few, and you go take, when you get hands on and you go take certs, and they ask you a scenario based question and you've done that before or you know what the service do because you worked with it a few times, it's easier to eliminate the questions that are not right, and it's easier to pick the right question because you're like, well, when I did that, it didn't do this for sure. Now you have, what is that called, y'all? What is that called? That's called what? Experience. That's what that's called. The exposure that you have by going to documentation and building out these simple services or using these simple services is experience, right? So Muhammad said, which Linux flavor? It doesn't matter. Ubuntu, Red Hat gonna cost you, I believe, because Red Hat is a premium service, and you might be able to get a free edition of Red Hat, but CentOS is actually the playground for Red Hat. It's a same Linux flavor, but it's just the test environment for Red Hat. You do Fedora, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just learn Linux because guess what? You can spin up different instances or different servers or different compute servers based on the flavor that you've chosen. So, 5 core services: Linux, IAM, compute, storage, and networking. 2 projects each of both of them and be able to explain the value and how it works. And use labs, lab, right? If you're going through a Linux handbook, just if you got a MacBook, you can spin up a terminal on your MacBook, or you just spin up an EC2 instance and just start learning Linux through that. Oh, I don't know how to spin up an EC2 instance. Well, just look up EC2, how to deploy an EC2 instance, or how to deploy a virtual machine, or how to deploy a compute engine instance. That's what GCP uses, right? So Muhammad said he has free Red Hat. It's no excuse why we can't get hands on. The only excuse that we feed ourselves is, what if I mess something up? What if you mess something up? Can you fix it? Well, I don't know. Well, how would you start? Wow, just chat GPT it. Well, that's a great start. That's how you learn. AI is here, especially chat GPT and Grok and those platforms, Gemini. They're here for us to learn quickly and efficiently. It's no reason why you can sit here and say that you can't accomplish anything. Sam, Sam is on the case. Sam knows, right? Sam, former guest on our program, he understands it. We're gonna get to that real quick, Sam. So we practice labs, and then you can focus on things like automation, scripting, which Bash, Python, PowerShell, whatever, right? Infrastructure is code, right? Cloud formation for AWS or Bicep for Azure, right? Or Terraform, which is cloud agnostic, meaning you can launch Terraform in any public cloud platform. Okay. Then once you got a handle of, okay, I'm writing scripts in Linux or I'm writing scripts in Bash, right? I'm automating some manual deployments I do in AWS. Then focus on containers, right? And how to package and deploy apps with that. Then you can focus on how to orchestrate those containers with Kubernetes. Then we can focus on how we can automate and build pipelines that just work for us with deploying any services that we want. See, there's steps to this, right? Y'all, so the reason why we can't finish the meal is because we in the cafeteria going through the line and we're listening to everybody who tells us what we need to eat and we putting it all on our plate. Instead of just getting a whole balanced meal, 5 course services, right? Put it on your plate and then making sure you can eat that first, right? How are we going to pile everything else on our plate and we're not even really trying to focus on eating the 5 course services that can make us really healthy as a cloud engineer? Think about that for a second. That's why we're not moving forward, because then we sit down and we look at the plate and we like, holy shit, I can't eat all this, man. You see this plate? I can't eat all this. What am I doing, man? No, 5 core services first. So let's talk about certs. Well, brothers, what certs do I get? Because I mean, I want at least 3 certs before I go land a road. Them 3 certs not gonna help you. I'm gonna tell you the only way certs, only certs will help you land a role is if you got lucky and you interview with a company who is a premier partner with whatever cloud service provider, AWS, Azure, or GCP, and they need to maintain a level, or not level, a certain number of certified individuals on their team to maintain a partnership. And you just caught them at the right time where they're just desperate because they're like, yo, we got to have, man, we need 40 people on our team that has at least these certs, and we need 15 that has the professional certs, and we only got 20 people on our team that got, you might be in luck because they might say, hey, you know what? It costs us less to come in and train you and give you a probationary period where you have to reach or get a certain cert within a certain amount of time than it is with the money that we would lose if we couldn't maintain this partnership. Because that partnership would give us kickbacks on services. It will put our business in a marketplace to help us gain more clients. We can use it to charge clients more because we're a premier partner, meaning we have certain, and think about this, a lot of companies require their whole entire staff to be certified in at least one certification. So think of the marketing standpoint they stand to get. Everyone at our team is certified and a cloud expert to be able to help you. So you will find no one that works for whatever XYZ company that cannot help you with your cloud goals. As a customer, they're like, word, dang, okay. And this is the premium price that we charge because everyone is a certified expert. If you don't believe me, that's what they do, right? So you have to understand that the certs don't get you the job. But what certs can you get? Here's the certs you should start off with. If AWS, you should start off with the certified cloud practitioner. And if you already learning the 5 core services or gaining the 5 core skills that I told you, these certs should be easy for you to really pass because you're doing a lot of the work. And when they give you uh, multiple choice questions or even little scenario based questions, then you would pass easily, right? For Azure, AZ900, and for GCP Cloud Digital Leader. These are typically what we call non-tech certs, right? So they're non-technical, but they help you understand the core services of that cloud service provider, right? And it's more like mapping to keywords so you can understand like, oh, if we're talking about threat detection, that's this service. Or we're talking about microservices, that's this service. If we're talking about serverless containers, right, we're talking about this service. But by you understanding the core basic services and using them in cloud, you will be able to pass these certifications easily. Well, Broadus, what next? Do I go to the AWS Solutions Architect or do I do something else? Now, one thing I think the Solutions Architect can really help with is just in any cloud provider, it's giving you the broad understanding of how a ton of services work. That you can never go wrong with a Solutions Architect certification, because you'll get exposed to how a lot of these services work. Because as a solutions architect, your job is to work with the client to design solutions. And so you have to have a broad knowledge of what services can actually work as a solution, right? So you can never go wrong. But that doesn't make you a solutions architect. Just like a developer certification doesn't make you a developer. A SysOps certification doesn't make you a system admin, systems operations, cloud system operations admin, or cloud systems engineer. All right. Security cert doesn't make you a cloud security engineer. It just gives you a deeper understanding, but a foundational level standing of, if you're a developer, what tools in Azure do developers use to develop and create better workflows using certain methodologies that they can deploy code easier to the end user. Build, test, and deploy. So it's all about really what cert will make you a better engineer in the role that you want. So for us, we go straight to the developer because we're learning DevOps, right? We're learning more about how to take the code that developers have developed and make sure we follow a methodology to test or build, push, test the code, and then deploy the code in a test environment to make sure it works with the services that we want it to work with, and then deploy it to the end user. So it's no wrong certs. Just make sure the cert matches where you're trying to go. Don't go and get the cert just because someone told you to get the cert. If it doesn't align with your footprint or where you're trying to go, or the steps or where you're trying to reach, don't get the cert. I told this last live. I had a gentleman that came in our program. He had 2 professional certs. He had the AWS Solutions Architect Professional and the AWS DevOps Professional, and didn't know a damn thing about nothing. Didn't know any Linux, didn't know any Python, didn't know how to build and deploy any services. He labbed from the courses, followed the courses, remembered, studied hard with the practice exams, and was able to pass. You don't want that to be you. So 5 core services, start with these certifications. Anthony, I don't know what you missed, but the core certifications that you start with was AWS CCP if you're in AWS, Azure 900 AZ 900 if you're in Azure, and GCP Cloud Digital Leader if you're in GCP. All right. And I asked a friend of mine named Aaron Lake, who is a TAM at Wiz, but also he's led multiple teams at a few startups, and he's partnered with us before to work with some of our junior talent. So I asked him, I was like, "Hey, what are the top three things you look for in a junior?" And here's what he said: he's looking for hunger, inquisitiveness, right? So if you don't know, if somebody asks you a question, you don't know it, and you ask for the answer after admitting not knowing it, is better than just an I don't know, right? But also show that they can put in the work to skill up on the required knowledge, the fundamentals, the basics, right? And going outside their wheelhouse to learn. The third thing, what they're looking for, is the thing that a lot of you are getting stuck at right now, is going outside of your wheelhouse to learn, right? Another problem is we're learning the wrong things. We haven't picked the role, because I'm going to enforce this in your mind. We haven't picked the role, we haven't picked the platform, and we out here trying to learn GCP, Azure, and AWS all at the same time, or at least two of them all at the same time, not even aligning the fundamental skills, the 5 core skills, because with the 5 core skills, you already built about 30% of the skills that the companies want you to have. It's all about now looking at the job description of what you want as far as the role, and learning about the other skills that you got to learn. That's the path, right? But the core path for you, if you're beginning, is the 5 core that I told you about. That's all you have to do. All right. So next step, proof. Well, we talked about this, but how do we build proof? What are you talking about? If you're working in a course, whether it's just a regular course about a service or a certification course, at the end of each module, there needs to be a project. At the end of each module, there needs to be a project. This is how you can build your skills while learning and showcase your ability to make it stick and talk about how it solves problems. Too many of us sit back like this. Because we're just watching videos and we're not getting hands on. Once you built that service, or deployed that service, or built that project, at the end of that module, create your GitHub account and push it to GitHub. Learn Git. Git is super easy. Push it to GitHub. You don't even have to learn Git to learn how to push it to GitHub, because you're automatically learning if you just ask ChatGPT, how do I push this project to GitHub? And it's going to tell you how to download Git and install Git to your machine, and the commands to use. Well, you're going to build a repo. And when you build a repo in GitHub, it's literally going to give you the commands that you can use to push your code, or your whatever you build in your virtual machine, to GitHub itself. That's all you got to do. And guess what? You can write about it using different platforms like Notion, medium.com. We have hundreds of Level Up in Tech former students who've used Medium, and their projects that they've written about got picked up by other publications on Medium that want to showcase their projects to their viewers because it was so good. And all they had to do was just start. Like, you never know how good you will be if you don't do this. Muhammad, I never did any project. Listen, brother, that's going to change. Because if you don't, you won't have the necessary skills. So think about it like this. Like, think about, for instance, just something simple. Something simple. I had to go get some coolant for my car. This car takes a special coolant, right? It takes oat coolant. There's different coolant like Hope and hybrid and all of that, et cetera, in different colors. And I wasn't gonna fool with it. I was like, I'm just taking to the dealership. And I'm like, take it to the dealership to get coolant, bro. Like, what? Because I was scared I was gonna put the wrong coolant in there. But guess what? I had to learn, I had to look it up, and I had to go to the store. And it took me and two other gentlemen at AutoZone or Vince Auto, or one or the other, to find the right coolant. And I was taking pictures and asked ChatGPT, is this it? And it was like, nope, it's not it because this is why. Like, okay. And I was like, hey, this is what it says. I need this to be specified for this type of vehicle, blah, blah, blah. And we found it. And guess what? That is experience because I could tell a story on that and I can go back and do it again and do it the right way. That's the same thing with your projects. You're scared now because you're scared you're going to mess something up. You're going to look bad. But looking bad is the normalcy of learning. And when you learn, you never forget. And then you have a story, just like the story I just told you about a simple task of me finding the right coolant. And I told you, like, I'm experienced, like, yeah, this is what we did. That's how you're going to be in the interview talking about how you solved the problem. I solved the problem. I figured out the right type of coolant to put in the car, even though it was complex as shit. That's exactly what you're going to do in working with your projects. You have to show proof. Without proof, you can't tell somebody that as a carpenter, you can build them a bathroom and you have no proof that you build bathrooms. They probably not going to hire you. And if they do hire you, they probably super trusting and pretty naive. And that puts you in a position to get fired. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna answer this question real quick. How do you deal with the fear of not being good enough and imposter syndrome? Victor, you know how I deal with it? I do it anyway. That's how you deal with it. You confront it face to face. And you look at it and you be like, yo, even though I'm scared, I know you lying. And I'm gonna prove you wrong. And once you do it, you realize he was like, yo, it was nothing to be scared of. Like, once again, I didn't want to go to AutoZone because I was scared I was going to buy the wrong type of coolant to put in my vehicle. I was literally going to take it to the dealership and let them do it and charge me however much they were going to charge me. But you know what I said? Hey, get over that fear. It's coolant, bro. You'll figure it out. Use the resources. And guess what? I figured it out. You'll figure it out. Use the resources that you have. And you'll be a better man for it, a better engineer for it. I promise you. All right. And with that, you need to share every milestone on LinkedIn. I don't care if you completed a course and you got a certificate for it. Share it. It might not get you a job, but it shows momentum. It shows that you're continuously learning. And somebody can see that certificate now. And then 2 months, 3 months later, they see your projects. They're like, yo, I just seen this person started a what is cloud computing course. And now they're building all types of projects that solve problems. That's amazing how fast they learned this. And they're keeping an eye on you. Sharing your milestones on LinkedIn is marketing yourself, marketing your business. Because the next phase is positioning. All right. You're going to have to take everything you've done and build a resume. Now, this is the roadblock, I guess, for people who want to, like, what do I do? How do I build great resumes? There's so many templates out here. There's so many people that you can work with out here as well that can build your great resume. However, what I see is a lot of people build resumes or get people to build resumes for them. And they like, see, I didn't get the job, so the resume is shit. Well, if you don't have the qualifications or the skills listed on your resume that client wants you to have, you're not going to get the job. That's like somebody says, I need my grass cut. Please mail me something that shows that you can help me, and you mail them some plumbing material. They're going to look at it like, plumbing? Out the way. They're not looking for that. They're looking for people who can landscape and cut grass. So a lot of us are doing that. Like, oh, they're looking for this skill. And what you're doing is showing basic, basic, basic skills that doesn't scream that I can solve your problem. So even if you are showing a skill of you can cut grass, and many of you are just showing a little block of grass that you just cut instead of a whole yard or many of yards, right? Tons. Hey, we did 14 yards. Here's pictures of all of them. I did designs and everything. Wow. You just showing just a block of grass. Like I cut that. They're like, okay, that's super basic. How we don't do that here. Like, how's that solving my problem? So clean up your resume, highlight the results. So if you don't have results of what your project has um, solved, then talk about the use case of what your project can solve. What results can it get for that company, right? Not just the certifications. Remember, the certifications, people just gonna look at that like, okay, cool, you can learn. How can you help me solve my problem? And it's frustrating because you get people over and over and over doing the same thing, and no one follows directions. I'm giving y'all the blueprint in the game. So clean up your resume. Make sure your resume highlights the skills that that company needs you to have before you submit it. Now, while you're sharing your stuff on LinkedIn, you need to create 2 value posts per week on LinkedIn. It doesn't matter what that post is. Talk about your journey, talk about failures that you've seen this week, talk about something new that just dropped that you're super excited about, talk about your project, whatever. You need to bring visibility to you, because the more that people see that you're learning, the more people see that you can become a subject matter expert, because companies love people who can continuously learn. Remember, Aaron said he likes people that can get out of their warehouse and learn, who's not afraid to do something uncomfortable. So if you talk about a service that just came out and you don't really know too much about it, but you research and you're like, oh, that's interesting, and then you post something on LinkedIn talking about it, that's you getting out of your wheelhouse. All right. On top of cleaning up your resume and on top of creating 2 valuable posts per week on LinkedIn, you need to network daily. Comment, leave value on people's posts, even the people that you follow, even the mentors that you look up to, leave value on their post. And co DM, like you might have a job that you've been looking at, and you got people that work at that role or work at that company that you don't know, and you may need to contact them. But, brothers, how do I do that? Well, we have a process called NENQ. That is networking, emotional, narrative questioning. And how does that work? All right. So it helps you start authentic, right? It doesn't help you get into cringy conversations with people working in roles that you want or working at the companies that you want, right? It helps you build real rapport through stories and empathy. All right. You earn trust and you can get on Zooms with people that work at your dream company, because that's what we want to do. Get referrals, right? It's position yourself as a future peer and not a desperate job seeker. And from those calls that you book, you can get warm referrals. That's it. Here's an example. All right. You want to work at Nike and you see somebody at Nike that you don't know. You reach out to them. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Anthony, I saw you at you're working as a cloud engineer, or I saw you working as an engineering manager at Nike. That's the team I really admire. Hope it's cool to connect. All right. Then you just send them another message, right? And the same thing. Hey, seeing your path is honestly inspiring. I'm working towards the same space and I would just love to follow you and your content. And you just wait for the response. Wait for them like, hey, bro, this absolutely. I'm glad you follow me. And if they don't, just wait maybe a couple of more days and just ask, hey, can I ask? We'll help you stand out early in your career. What you want to do is ask questions that build rapport and get them to talk about themselves, because people love to talk about themselves. If somebody asks me about my journey, I love to talk about it. If I ask a manager about their journey, they'll look, yeah, this is, when I started working at Capital One, man, it was, this is what I learned, and they just love it. And then you just get to a point, you're like, hey, would you be open to really like just having quick virtual coffee? I would just love to learn more about your journey, learn more about the culture at Nike, and see how it is that you came to work there and what's keeping you working there. Absolutely. And now when you're on a call, you're on a conversation. Now you ask for the referral, like, hey, I was really interested in a role here, and I was wondering what are the chances that you may be able to get the referral from me applying. Because typically, if somebody was to refer you, they have to know you first, right? And a little conversation and telling them your story, get to know them, that goes a long way rather than you cold diving into their inbox saying, hey, can you give me a referral on this role or look at my resume and see what roles I qualify for? Nobody's going to do that. So if you've been doing that, stop that shit right now because nobody's going to look at your resume and go through their company and suggest what roles you need to apply to. Use the NEMQ method that we did. If you want access to a framework or some scripts, I can give you a couple scripts. Just comment framework and I'll send it over as well. But this is how you stand out. This is how you get the job. All right. Here's some mistakes to avoid because I know we're running out of time. Stop waiting to be ready. Okay. Stop waiting to be ready. Stop studying silently. Stop building all these things in silence and not raising your hand saying, look at me. All right. Stop building without documentation. If 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 you built it and you didn't document it, it didn't happen. Think of documentation as like just your proof, your court document. Your Honor, this is what happened. I got proof. When you go, documentation helps the interview become easier. How, brothers? Because you could be in an interview and they say, hey, Terrell, tell me more about your experience with Python. Oh, yeah, I just did. That's amazing you just asked me that because I just literally completed a project and I did this and that and this is the problem that is solved. I got documentation. You mind if I open this up real quick and just kind of walk you through my process? Who's going to say no? Who's going to say no? Who? All right. So stop building without documentation and stop applying with generic resumes. Your resume needs to be tied to the pain points that the company asks you to solve. Like you cannot apply to a company that wants you to have security skills, automation skills with Python and Kubernetes skills with I know Linux and I created an S3 bucket that hosts a static website. Where on earth do you think that's going to get you hired? It is not. Sam, thank you. Your documentation is a reflection of yourself. Okay. So I want to make sure I'm giving y'all value. Put your hands up again if this is valuable to you. Put your hands up. I want to make sure because I didn't want to just talk your head off. I want to make sure I gave you some mind-changing things that you can take action with today and you can look at this over and over and over and over and over and reset your mind and follow this action plan and build your way towards getting a cloud role as a beginner because you don't know where to start. All right. So once again, if you're tired of learning in circles, right, and you're ready to move with guidance, community, and clarity, I want you to drop a community. Drop the keyword community in the chat, in the comments, and I will send you a link to our free community that has free courses, free projects. I do some I post a ton of content in there and we do live events as well. Drop the keyword community. And when I send it to you, if it makes sense to y'all, to you, I'll walk you through how we help folks break into cloud for real. All right. So with that being said, drop the community. If this is something that you want access to, our free community, free courses, all that good stuff, we'll send it over. But I wanted to make sure I give you the value that you've been looking for. All right. And let's continue to level up in 2025, y'all. You know, this is your cloud roadmap for beginners. You've heard this before. Now it's time to really, 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 really execute. All right. So until next time, until next week, see y'all later. Love y'all. Holla back.